Hey guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. I'm just going to come in here and set up our key levels for ES and NQ. We'll start with NQ, then we'll do ES in a moment, just using profile. So the market's up quite nicely if you look in the evening time. And so this is where we're trading. This is where we traded yesterday. You can see if we pull this in a little bit, that we are attempting to break off of a multi-day balance area, going back to the 19th after the overnight trend up on the 18th. So I start these pretty easily. I think they're important and they're easy to learn. So so let's start with this. We'll just come in here and mark off prior days high and low. Do it like this. I don't have to be perfect. I know where it is. It'll correct when I go over to the chart. Green. Let's make it a little bit wider. And I do this on Sierra chart. Right click. And then the next thing I want to know, right? So you'll notice I don't get super technical on the charting, right? I don't go over in depth in the I don't get over in depth on the concepts of mind over market, right? So when I break out this day here, I know tomorrow morning whether I'm bullish or bearish, right, that I have to get underneath this lip right over here. It's really not value area low. I have to get below and hold below here, and I would expect responsive buyers the first time we get there. So I'll just mark that off right here, and I'll put notes later, but I know that becomes a key area. And then conversely, if we were to somehow get down here overnight, I would mark this off, right? So really this value area doesn't matter as much as this little section right in here. And the way I would look at that is if I came in from underneath, I'd want to test above and look for exhaustion between here and value area high for a roll to the downside. But most importantly, just like this morning, what I would look for is when we test underneath there. See how this last half hour right here, when I look at it, when we test under here and we test under here. So see how we opened up and we got above, and excuse me, that's Globex. But see how in Globex we tested above, then we came all the way through and we tested underneath this level. So the reason that's important is it keeps me from taking trades anywhere inside this little box. So what I'm going to do so that I don't get confused is I'm going to get rid of my overnight. I'll add it back later. Very simple. Session times. And it'll reload really quickly for us because I'm a little bit tired and it does not help my ADD. So great. So what I'm looking for is I'm going to put a little box here. I'm going to put a little box here. And I know wherever we're trading tomorrow morning, if I come from underneath, I'd look for exhaustion right over here. If I came from on top, since I'm more bullish than I am at all bearish, I'd look for the push underneath and then to trap them and slingshot the other way. And I would balance this area with value area low in terms of looking for the response. Okay, next, I am looking for any pronounced areas of single prints. I only have one area that really meets that requirement, and that is this area right here. We've already gapped out of it, but I would highlight it as single prints. They're very important to me. And then when I look down here from the prior day, this is my single prints right at the end, right there. And then I'm going to move this. Goes right over here. This goes away. That's a prior day's low. So that automatically becomes an area that if I test below prior day's low, I would look for responsive buyers, and again I would mark off. And again, I don't expect this to go down very much tomorrow, but I'll move this one more time. This will be my last piece right here because I think it's all that's relevant. And then I'm going to mark this off. Excuse me. like this. Noting that it's single prints. When the single print area is small, I just expect that area to provide somewhere in this location for an algo to fire. When it's large like this, I expect a response off the top and the back of that location. And then the last thing I want to do is when I look at this chart, just in general, right, I can see two things. I want to know, see how there's, I would add a zone, like at least a mental zone here. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. This doesn't mean that there will be buyers here, but you can clearly tell. Yeah, you can clearly tell two things. So see how we keep testing underneath 19,967? I know that's very small. I apologize. I'll make it bigger for next video. But that's 19,967.50 right there. See how we keep testing underneath 19,967.50? So I don't need a fancy chart to tell me that, hey, as of now, underneath 19,967.50, there's responsive buyers over there. And you can see they formed they did a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders for the break to the upside. At that point, I don't need any special charting tools to see there's buyers below 19,967. Unfortunately, I don't think we're getting down there tomorrow, so the point becomes moot. And then the next thing I'd have to look is, well, what's off to my left, right? And in order to find that out, I'd have to load a dramatic number of days. Here, I'll do that. Let's just do 350 and give it a minute to load. It may not like this. It may sit here for a second, but we'll see. And if I have to go so far back, I just kind of assume that, well, I'm going to use either levels that are derived from options or the price action to make a determination as to how exactly I want to trade that trade in those areas. And it does not like this. Let's try this here real quick. Sometimes if I kick it in the teeth, it hurries it up, but it may not work. There we go. And again, it's a lot of data, so let's just pull it back and go see what was back to the left. There we are. And we can see that we have naked points of control above. So I'm going to look above that green line. Okay, stop. This is bringing us back to 718, and I see some things that are very interesting almost immediately. So the first thing I want to do is go, where are my, here, let's do this. What I want to do is mark off this. We're past all that. Why isn't, hold on, 2280. Huh, that's the problem. This just does not look right. Hold on a second here. $22.80. Come on, see our chart. Okay, here we are, 2280. And if we grab our mark right there, mark it orange so that we know it's a prior and then we will take this. Took a minute. Prior day's high. There's a Dalton's Gap fill starting here. Wow, actually, I'm marking this incorrectly. So this would be a prior day's low. So we'd mark off like that. I know this is boring, but this is the tedious work you have to do to get the job right. So this, prior day's low. And then finally this. That is a Dalton's Gap fill. Then this is prior day's high. And that would take us all the way up to 21,120. So I'll look if there's anything off to the left. But the other thing I'd want to mark off while I'm here is single prints. Single prints. And single prints. Alright. And then I'll go back and look a little bit further to the left to see if there's anything that is over that, but that takes us to the high back from 710, and then I'll scan back and we don't get anywhere close to that, which is fine. So now we have those levels above, right? We have clear levels below. And then I will add in my levels tomorrow morning that I'll get from additional sources like options in the morning. And now I know where my key areas are. So guys, I'll post this out. I'm not going to post below that low from the 20th because I don't think we get down there. There's no point to doing the work. And so then I'll take this. So there's also a naked volume point of control in there. I would rather focus on the single prints, but I will, as long as we're here, mark off the volume point of control and the TPO point of control as a point of interest. It's naked up there. And that is how I come up with my levels. They're not the most important levels, but they're critical levels, and they give it to me at a glance where we could go. So like tonight, when we are trading at, that's 202.9450, I would say, okay, we can get above 2320 would be an exhaustive area. Failure to exhaust there leaves us a very wide area for us to run up to towards 2520. Right? I don't have anything in between there, and you can see it's way far away all the additional levels. So then what I would do, here, let me fix this real quick so everyone can see this. Let's do this, display settings. And again, if this is boring, not a problem for me. There you go, now you can see the levels a little bit better. I'll bring this in and I will take a picture. So obviously I don't think we're going to run up to 2840, so from 293 I'm probably just going to print that up to 2760. I wouldn't, really dare to say we're going to have more than 500 points to the upside, and if we do, we'll adjust on the fly. And the way we get that captured is we take our snipping tool, and I will go like this. And I'll post that to the room and to Twitter. And then let's go do ES really quick. And by the way, right, if we start to come down and we get below yesterday's low, I'll go in here. I want to remind everyone, right, if you break this down, the next area of interest, if that 2106 fails, here, let's just do it really quick. If we fail on 2106, I would like to see us trade below 20.0065, and then if we get below 20.0065 and don't hold, well then the logical answer to that is, why is that white zone off like that? That shouldn't be there. Oh, I know why. Then the logical area is 19967, because that's the head and shoulders area, referencing back to the 19th. Okay, so that's how I would handle that. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can figure this out here real quick. Give me just 2 seconds. Scratching my head. There we go. Get my ADD mind to catch up. And then let's go do the, wow, look at the move tonight. That's just freaking awesome. Let's do ES really quick. So, same situation here. I'm just going to erase the lines here and start over. I'm getting a little bit tired, so I'm going to do less ES tonight. You can see we're trading at 57.94. All these levels are locked, so let me just grab them one by one. Okay, let's see if we can do this really quickly. Today's high. Today's low. The low from the 24th. And what you'll do, if you keep doing this work, what you will see and what you'll begin to understand is that the patterns repeat where we like to reverse, right? So I'm not going to worry what's above here. I have a level up here at 58.55 to 58.65. I'm going to leave that. But the next thing I want to know, again, when I look at this, the area I'm going to look for longs is below 57.22 to 57.72 to 57.67, and then this would be my other little area. That was the area of consolidation in the afternoon. I would expect either support between value area high and 57.83 or 72 and 67, and certainly a dip below. I have single prints, right? So again, from the top of the single prints, I would expect a response, and from the bottom, back of the single prints, I have single prints down here, right? So 57.38 to 57.32, and then I'll just mark this off. I don't expect to get anywhere close to that tomorrow, so I'll just leave it at that as a point of interest. So for me tomorrow, the first thing I'm going to look at on ES, can we get above and hold above 5800, right? You can see that we just took out the high from the 19th, right? And so what I'd want to see tomorrow is a simple rule of, can we consolidate for half an hour above prior day's high? Can we consolidate above today's value area high tomorrow? If so, that puts buyers in the overall driver's seat. I'm looking for open drive higher, and if I get open drive higher and we hold above 5800, my target is 58.55 to 58.65. Now I may adjust that in the morning depending on where we are. Now you got to remember, we're at the end of the month, and they may want to hold the market within this balance range, right? But you can see we've been going through, and we've been making higher highs and higher. It's a consolidation with buyers in overall control, and the reason I say that is because you can see the majority of the days close mid to high. There's only one day that closed relatively weak, and it was one of the more narrow range days, and you can see we peaked just underneath that half hour level, and we found responsive buyers in that location. So I would say the buyers have it, and I would say the buyers have it until we get an impulse move below 57.32, and even if we move below 57.32, it's just going to go to the wider balance area. And then if I go look to the back of this, I think I only have a few days left, so I will load out. Let's go par period, data limiting, so I can see what's behind. Let's do and see what's above 5,800. Oh, that's not even remotely possible. For some reason it just didn't give me the data. Let's try this. It's not loading for some reason on ES, and I won't worry about it. I'll just make the adjustment. So these are the levels going into tomorrow, so I'll make this pretty wide. That's still my upside target up there, this location. And let's see if I get my tools. And if you find this boring, it's alright. It just tells you this is the work that's necessary to figure out your levels. It's the boring part. It's the boring part of understanding how the market moves. Okay, I've posted that on Twitter, and I've also posted on Slack. Guys, have a good night. I'm tired. I expect to have another good day tomorrow. So remember, when it's slow and grindy, if you don't have the pace, the most important thing is don't draw down and stay on your process. So have a good night. I will see everyone in the morning. Thank you, guys.